Hundreds of Americans died in the seconds during which the planes hit the World Trade Center, and thousands more were crushed and torn apart when the towers collapsed. This included hundreds of heroic firemen, the fear showing in their faces, who went in anyway to try to rescue their fellow citizens. We should be outraged by this terrible loss from this terrible crime, and we need to demand justice. If we don't see to it that the guilty parties are punished, we're inviting them to kill us next time. So we have to demand justice.
The rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Vaak over gebouw nummer 7. Dat was een wolkenkrabber van 47 verdiepingen naast de Twin Towers. Op 11 september 2001 heeft er brand gewoed, maar er is nooit een vliegtuig ingevlogen. Toch is ook dit gebouw op 11 september ingestort. Deze gebeurtenis heeft nooit veel aandacht gekregen en ook Denny Jowenko heeft er nooit van gehoord. Zijn reactie op de beelden die we laten zien is onbevangen.
Zie je vanaf boven gaan? Nee, je gaat vanaf onder.
Die gaat vanaf onder, ja.
Toch?
Ja.
Ze hebben gewoon kolommen weggeblazen. Ze is nagesprongen.
Dit valt anders dan het World Trade Center.
Vind je niet dan?
Ja, je ziet het, de onderste verdiepingen gaan eerst.
Ja, en de rest zakt er gewoon in. Dus dit is controlled demolition.
Zeker weten.
Zeker weten. Er is nagesprongen. Dit is in opdracht gebeurd. Dit heeft een team gedaan van experts.
Maar dit is ook op 11 september gebeurd.
Dezelfde dag?
Dezelfde dag.
Dezelfde dag? Weet je dat zeker?
Ja.
Was het zeker weten de 11e? Dat kan geen waar zijn.
7 uur nadat de World Trade Center naar beneden viel.
Ja? Hebben ze hard gewerkt?
In het officiële onderzoeksrapport van FEMA staat dat ze niet kunnen verklaren waarom gebouw nummer 7 is ingestort. Uitgebreid bespreken we alle mogelijke oorzaken met Denny Jowenko.
Dat weet ik niet precies, maar ze hebben wel...
Maar hij blijft erbij dat het gebouw is opgeblazen.
Het is vakwerk, zonder meer. We weten heel goed wat ze doen, die jongens.
De vraag is dan, is zoiets van tevoren voorbereid of kan dat op 11 september zelf nog zijn besloten en uitgevoerd?
Met hoeveel man heeft u hoeveel tijd nodig om dat te doen?
Dat weet ik niet precies, maar...
Maakt u een inschatting?
Ja, dan moet je wel ervaren mensen hebben, maar als je een man of 30, 40 zou hebben. Kijk, een paar met de snijbrander, de rest brengt hem aan. Andere mensen sluiten dat deadcord met die boosters aan. Dat moet allemaal precies allemaal op hetzelfde moment gaan. En weer een derde die zet de elektronische systemen erop. En dan gaat hij.
Terwijl overal brand was en ook in dat gebouw was brand.
Dat is niet geblust.
Ze hebben de brand niet geblust. Dus de mensen die dat moesten doen, die moesten het doen terwijl het binnen nog brandde.
Ja, dat is vreemd. Dat is vreemd. Dat vind ik ook heel vreemd. Daar heb ik geen verklaring voor.
In gebouw nummer 7 zaten onder meer de IRS, het ministerie van Defensie, de CIA, de Secret Service, de commandobunker van burgemeester Giuliani en de SEC, de beurswaakhond die toeziet op de financiële schandalen van Wall Street. Volgens de complotdenkers was het bewijs van de Amerikaanse medeplichtigheid te vinden in gebouw nummer 7 en is daarom van tevoren besloten dat het zou worden opgeblazen.
Then in the radio transmissions from September 11th, firefighters reported numerous additional explosions going off within the buildings.
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. We've just had another explosion. Warren Street because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion. And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013, 1013. Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area. Who's involved in the secondary explosion at Tower 1?
Here is from the grave. As a valiant firefighter reports that the fires were almost out. And as firefighters went public and said that the fires had almost been extinguished, the federal government ordered them under national security to stop talking to the public and told the media that all the firefighter tapes had malfunctioned. But not before firefighters had rebelled and released segments of tape, a segment you're about to hear.
What do you got up there, Steve? I'm still in voice stairway, 74th floor, no smoke or fire problem. The walls are breached, so be careful. Yeah, 10-4, I saw that on 68. Freddie, come on over. Freddie, come on over by us. Guys, look at that. Hey, right, 1-5. We got two. I saw the pockets of fire. We should be able to knock it down with 2 lines. Where you know that? 78th floor, numerous 1045 cold lines. What's scaring you, Mario?
Seconds before the towers collapsed, blast points could be seen springing up down the sides of the buildings from the top down.
And the lobby looked as though a bomb had exploded there. All the glass was taken out. There were 10-foot by 10-foot marble panels that were once walls. They were loose from the wall of the Trade Center.
I went around by the freight elevator and I could see it was just blown. It was just a giant 30th floor. We hear another explosion. And at that time we heard a huge explosion.
The windows in the lobby of the North Tower were blown out, and marble panels were blown off of the walls. This was brushed off as an explosion from a raging fireball that went barreling down the elevator shafts. However, there is no soot, no fire, no fuel residue. Instead, the entire lobby is coated with a fine dust, which is the signature of high explosives.
Senior firefighter Lou Caccioli, who survived the collapse of the World Trade Centers, reported
7 World Trade fell 100 meters in 4.5 seconds, the same time required for a 100-meter free fall in a vacuum. In a normal collapse, resistance from a steel frame support and moment of inertia would significantly increase the time required. Here we see a summary of the results for our free fall experiment. Now let's compare the real-time video with the free fall gravity laboratory.
Later tonight, we expect to hear from President Bush. Difficulties around the area. New Jersey Transit outbound Hoboken terminal operating on a load-and-go basis, no inbound service, and also Abbott Newark Penn Station limited service on the north.
Let's remove the air resistance and use freeze frame analysis to get a better look at the fall. The ball has started to drop, yet 7 World Trade is still above the starting line. At the 1-second mark, 7 World Trade and the ball are still even.
Difficulties around the area. New Jersey Transit outbound Hoboken terminal.
7 World Trade indeed falls 100 meters in 4.5 seconds. We observed that World Trade Center 7 fell faster than the speed of gravity, equivalent to the speed of free fall in a vacuum. We must conclude that a vacuum was created characteristic of an implosion, where the structure is pulled down by a controlled demolition. Our supporting evidence is that debris fell neatly within the footprint of the building. An eyewitness heard a loud clap of thunder and saw a shock wave rip through the building, blowing out windows, before the ground floor exploded, and a second later the building came down. Rick's tape recorded a large explosion 9.5 seconds before any signs of collapse.
Outrageous conspiracy theories concerning the attacks of September the 11th. Malicious lies that attempt to shift the blame away from the terrorists themselves, away from the guilty.